Took me a while, but I finally got the case split. There was a couple screws that I missed that you couldn't see because it was so muddy, and they were right here, one there and one there. Also, I took this off. The shaft goes on this side, and it has a little ball in there, and that little ball, I took it out with a magnet, and it's right here. This goes right on top of that, and that goes in that hole right there. Here's the other half of the case. The bearing is completely shot. It's not the shift fork as I thought. The fork's actually fine. The problem is right here. It's not supposed to do that. I found the bearing actually in here. Here's the two halves. So it doesn't seem like anything got damaged. Everything is good. I'm gonna keep inspecting it, but this is pretty much all it needs is that bearing. I'm gonna go ahead and check everything though and make sure everything's okay before I start putting things back together. Okay, trying to inspect the transmission. So to remove it, you remove this shaft first, put it to the side. Then you remove the linkage, which you have like this bolt here at the end, which is right here. It's a 6mm that I used to get it out. I put some oil and I pulled it right out. You have this gear, you have a little washer, the gear, needle bearing, and then another washer. Then this is what the shift fork's attached to. And inside of here was a mess. I think this is probably what caused the problem. Looks like it's been chewed up a little bit, and it was like right up here. It has a groove down below where it needs to sit. So I'm gonna replace this, get that new bearing, and install it so I can put this thing back together. But there's really not much to it. You don't need any special tools from what I can see. I'm just gonna check it one more time, make sure everything's okay, and then place the order and start putting it together. Figure out where that this bearing came from, and at first I thought it was one solid needle bearing, but after looking at the transmission, I think it's in two pieces. Doesn't look like it's been broken, and that's the only spot it fits in. So you have a washer or spacer down, then this two-part needle bearing, then you have this that slides in there. Then you have this little funky thing, slides in there, spacer, then the spacer with the grooves, and then this clip, and then that slides in there, and you have spacer, needle bearing, gear with a spacer on top, and this goes right there, and that's it. Here's all the parts that I got in today, all the seals and bearings and stuff that I felt like I was gonna need. All the chains are in here. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. I tried to do my homework before ordering everything, but this is the main piece that I needed for the transmission. This is why it wasn't going in gear, and it looks like it's a two-piece needle bearing You just put them together and put them in the inside of, I believe it's this gear. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on. I also got the little clip. It looked like it was damaged, and a few other little things. So I'm gonna go ahead and start there and get this thing put back together. I went ahead and ordered this bushing. This bushing, you cannot find it on the websites that sell all the parts for the four-wheelers. I looked everywhere for it, and I also called them and they couldn't find out what it was. So I heard that you have to get a new case if you want that bushing bearing in there. Mine got nicked a little bit. It's really not that bad, but since I tore it down, I'm gonna go ahead and install a new one. I think this guy makes them. I got it off of eBay, and he said it's pretty much a direct replacement. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark. I don't know if it matters or not, but I'm gonna mark with the pen or a permanent marker where this little hole is at, and install it back in there. I really don't think this one will have any problems. I may actually, because they're really not that deep, I may actually just sand it down. I just wanted to get this just in case. It was really not that much. I want to say maybe like $50 or so. So I'm gonna sand this down with a really fine sandpaper, and the reason why is because this one here also has this little groove and it kind of catches your finger. So I'm gonna sand this part down and that one, and if those grooves come off of this bushing here, I may leave it. I'll probably still replace it, but I'm just gonna test it out and see. That way I don't have to mess with it and risk damaging something. But either way, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna replace it. If not, I mean, I already have it, so it doesn't really hurt anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with that and see how it goes. All right, took it out. Here's the old, here's the new, and it does have that little seam. So you can see that seam. It does have it, it's just a little bit more, I guess, fine, so you really can't see it. You can barely see it, but it does have it. So I put some oil. First I cleaned it. I oiled this part too, and I'm gonna pretty much do it the same way. Just press it in and install it. Everything looks exactly like it should be. It's flush. I took my time. I didn't just press it in there real fast. I wanted to make sure it went in evenly so it didn't crack the case. I marked it, the marks line up. Here's the old one. So I'm glad I changed it out. So I went ahead and got that needle bearing installed. It's pretty easy. I don't really want to take it apart, but there's this clip in the washer and then a gear inside that you put the needle bearings in first, then you slide that gear in, and then you put like some gears that are inside, and then the little clip, and then once you do that, then you put the shift linkage little thing in, make sure you grease it up, and then you rotate it, it falls right in. Washer, fat washer, then the needle bearing, then the gear, washer, and then this goes in right there.